Colombo is the largest city and commercial capital of Sri Lanka, located on the southwest coast. Its name means harbor with leafy mango trees. Welcome to this visit to Colombo, Sri Lanka. The Portuguese seized the area around Colombo in the 1500s and expelled the local Muslim inhabitants. Today, the area where the Portuguese fort was located now houses the presidential palace and the main commercial buildings. The area outside of the fort was known as the trading area and is the principal trading market and commercial hub today. The Dutch seized control of Colombo in 1656 after a siege and massacred the Portuguese. They controlled Colombo under the Dutch East India Company until 1790. In 1802, the British gained control and made Colombo the capital of the Crown Colony of Ceylon. They were responsible for much of the planning of the present city, and in some parts the city tramcar tracks and granite paving survives today. The island of Ceylon received its independence peacefully from England in 1948. My father's always been a keen stamp collector and excited my interest in Ceylon from his large British colonial collection. Colombo today is a multi-ethnic and multicultural city with not only Moors, Sinhalese, and Tamils, but a mixture of British, Dutch, Portuguese, and even Malays and Indians. It's always presented the tourist image of a tropical paradise. Who can resist not wanting to stay in some of these hotels advertised in vintage postcards of the 19th century? This early vintage postcard shows the York Street with the Grand Orient Hotel and the Pacific and Orient office. Another view of York Street with the GOH, or Grand Orient Hotel. The buildings show the Colonial influence. A modern-day photograph of the Grand Orient Hotel. It's still there. Another colonial hotel in a vintage postcard, the Bristol Hotel, advertising the best cuisine in the East with a specialty of curries. Candy Pavilion. The city in its early days produced tea, cinnamon, and coconuts. It also had the most busy harbor in Asia and acted as the gateway for most of the supplies for the island of Ceylon. Let's take a look at some early vintage postcards showing the busy harbor. The Colombo breakwater during a high wind in the monsoon season. This postcard is labeled Rubber Trees. I guess rubber could be a produce. However, Ceylon has long been famous for its tea. Here's an ad dated 1837. A modern tea plantation. A vintage postcard of women picking tea, and even today the women pick the tea leaves. This 19th century postcard shows the weighing and bundling of tea leaves. Early transport around Colombo, rickshaws were popular. Strong bullocks pulling large wooden wheel carts were the major form of transportation. And they're even used today in this modern photograph. A coastal orientation and fishing was a popular economic activity for the local inhabitants. This is Main Street showing the Can clock tower, and there's quite a few postcards of this clock tower. It was definitely a local landmark. A picture of the modern airport where I landed and was carried down 4 flights of stairs in a wheelchair from a Boeing 747. It was quite an experience at 4 o'clock in the morning. Colombo is a major stopping point for luxury cruise ships. Today, it retains its economic importance as a major harbor. Sri Lanka has a railway system which now is getting very run down and somewhat unsafe. A local train pulls in. In 2002, there was a terrible train crash at PUGH with quite a few deaths. The cheap price of fares means that the train system is not well maintained. The major landmarks are the twin World Trade Center towers, which are the largest in Sri Lanka, and the round building, which is the Bank of Ceylon. The twin Trade Center towers were completed in 1995. The old Colonial building is the old Parliament building. You get a wonderful view from the top of the twin trade towers. Let's take a look. The City Hall. This is the General Post Office on Queen Street, taken in a vintage postcard of 1915. And the Can clock tower is in the background. The entrance to the PUGH markets is next to the Can clock tower, shown here on the map. There's many small traders, and you can buy anything you want. The streets are always packed and filled with people. The dynamic commercial hub for the locals. More photos of the Cran clock tower leading to the Peta markets. It's still there, a modern photograph. Cargill's is a traditional British colonial structure dating from the 1800s. A view, I think, of the Colombo Historical Museum. Let's take a look at the artifacts inside. Gull Face Green is about 2 kilometre long promenade next to the ocean. It's got large lawns and is very popular for small traders, a place for concerts, and a place to take walks and to relax. It's also a place where you see lots of young lovers underneath umbrellas and small children flying kites or playing sports like cricket. Located there is one of the best known hotels, the Gull Face Hotel. A vintage postcard from the 1800s showing the green with the Gull Face Hotel on the right. Notice how close the hotel is to the ocean. Here's the Gull Face Hotel today. The bricks have been covered over with some sort of cement and paint. And again, it's very close to the ocean. The doorman. The hotel was built in 1865. Remains a lovely old colonial hotel, though perhaps beyond my price range. Showing the green along the beach, although not very green at this time of year. Early cannons of a previous era. The multicultural nature of the city is shown in its temples and churches. Here's All Saints Church in the Dam Street area. A Portuguese church from the 16th century that has withstood the test of time. It still has the insignia of the Dutch East Indian Company on its front gate. There's a strong Muslim element and a number of very picturesque mosques. This one used to be a local landmark. There's also a Hindu element, particularly amongst the Indians. This is a gigantic statue of Buddha in Colombo. Buddhism was introduced about the 3rd century before the birth of Christ to Sri Lanka, and it's a very strong element today. A Buddhist temple in the middle of the lake. This is Sima Matakaya in the middle of Beira Lake. Sorry about the pronunciation. The University of Colombo is the largest university in Sri Lanka and has a large campus in the middle of the city. Although Colombo was not devastated to the extent of other parts of Sri Lanka in December 2004 from the tsunami, there was nevertheless some damage. This is a young child's picture illustrating the tsunami. With lots of houses built right on the ocean, it was easy for there to be damage. Let's just have a few quick glimpses of some of the damage in the area. A memorial service in Colombo remembering those who had died in the tsunami. Some 19th century British photographs showing very early life in Ceylon. We look at the early life and then at the street scenes today. It does look very romantic, doesn't it? This is an early scene in PUGH Market. An old tradition, snake charming. I look in the PUGH markets today. A modern street scene. The city's not really helped by the cars. Traditional stores in vintage postcards. The date is 1850 on the gate. Now I look in a modern Colombo store selling what appears to be mainly tourist items. Elephant tusks for sale. I thought that was illegal actually. You certainly couldn't import them into Australia. They'd be seized by customs. Thanks for joining me on this quick tour of Colombo through vintage postcards and modern day photographs. I do appreciate your company and wish you a very pleasant day.